It's Matt Wyatt with all the good stuff you need to know.
Right here on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide
at the Zone1059.com.
Here we go. Let's light this candle. As the man said, we're going to kick a few tires and light a few fires. I think I stole that from somebody. I don't even know who, but I have heard it before. It was not an original thought. But it is a free-for-all Friday, and so I'm kind of totally spontaneous with you here today. I hope you're ready for that. Finally Friday.
Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and let the good times roll.
Let the good times roll, he said. All right, get on in here on a Friday. Hey to you. You can text the show, call the show, comment on the live stream. If you're looking at the live stream, it is live. Danny over there in Ringgold, Georgia, he said living on the Georgia-Tennessee line right now, there's an awful lot of smack talk this week, I bet.
Friday, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend. It's finally Friday, I'm out of control. Forget the working blues and let the good times roll.
Yeehaw. All right, get on in here. You can be a part of it like that on the live stream. You can also text me on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It is the best sausage, in my opinion, hands down. I'm on duck and pork. I'm finishing that up. Next up for me, 3 cheese. Thawing out some of that 3 cheese. Okay, calm down. Country Pleasin' sausage. You can text me on the Country Pleasin' text line at 885-3776. That's a 601 number, 885-3776. Another good way to remember that is 885-ESPN, 885-ESPN. You can also call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. The oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S., in fact, means they've been doing it better, longer than anybody else right here at home at Davini. And the number to call me, 897-1059. Got that? That's the phone number, 897-1059. Let's check in on old goody old buddy, old pal Beef, see how he's doing today. Hey, Beaver, how you doing?
I'm good, Matt Wyatt. How are you?
Peachy. I was in Wally World earlier today. Thought about you.
What'd you see?
I saw Beaver. You checked your text messages during the day?
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Snack cake. Yeah, you sent me snack cake pics.
All right. Right next to all the other Little Debbie snack cakes, including the traditional Christmas tree cakes from Little Debbie, are those other two, and I have not seen these. Look at it.
Yeah, so I noticed there are 2 types of brownies.
Yeah.
Which I knew about the green ones, but I didn't know there was such thing as the snowflake brownies.
Right. All right. So for those listening, I will describe what Beaver just pointed to right there. You have Christmas tree shaped brownies, you know, the Little Debbie brownies that usually come in squares. You have those shaped as a Christmas tree with green icing on top, various colored sprinkles on top of that. Makes it look like there's lights on the Christmas tree. So, Beav, have you tried it? And if you haven't, why not?
Which, now I've had the green.
You've had the green. So, okay,
yeah.
You have had it. Is there any difference in the taste of the Christmas tree Little Debbie brownie versus a regular brownie?
As far as I remember, I don't think there is. I think it's just another example of we're just putting out the same thing. We're going to make the zebra cake with a little extra color and make it Christmas tree cake. I think the brownie is the same thing. We're just going to make it Christmas tree shape.
Okay.
But I think it's the same.
Tastes the same. Well, see, and that's the thing for me. I had not even seen these. I hadn't seen. you were aware of the Christmas tree. I was not. Christmas tree shaped brownies. They don't have just Christmas tree cakes. Little Debbie has Christmas tree brownies covered in green, but they also have snowflake brownies. And they're sort of octagonal, something like that, with white icing on top of the brownie. Little snowflake designs in there. And the snowflake brownies, Beaver, this Christmas season are specifically for you to buy and give to your most woke family and friends. The Little Debbie snowflakes. Anyhow, I sent that picture just because I saw them, and it wasn't like I was searching them out. I just happened to look. I thought, wait a minute, I have not seen these. I think this is an indication, Beaver. Pretty much every year we're going to get new stuff from them.
It's like those little muffins.
Mm-hmm.
Those new muffins, they're
right.
Roshanason, and I'll never forget. She said, okay, Little Debbie, we get it.
We get it. Yeah, we get it. Okay, something new every year. Well, the snowflakes are new to me, and the Christmas tree's new to me too. I love the brownies. I love the Little Debbie brownies. So it's kind of running parallel with those, the idea that Reese's came up with, and that is just make it into any kind of shape and it'll sell. Because everybody loves the Reese's. Well, everybody loves the Little Debbie brownie. I don't know anybody that doesn't love it. Well, happy Friday to you, Beav. You got anything else on your mind? Anything pressing, or is it just a normal Friday for you?
Yeah, just the regular Friday.
Okay.
Well, no, I take that back. It started immediately. I pull in the parking lot. Uncle Bill's out there. He says, "Hey, I need your help. We need to push this van." I was like, "Oh, okay." The Kixie van. The battery died because some genius left the radio on when they were in there last time. So he's like, "All right, we got to go in here, and it's got to go get Alice over at JMI. She's got to come move her truck to make space for it." Yeah. Then Ricky pulls up, and I'm like, "Hey, I know you're the boss, but we need you to do some actual work, and I need your help." So he's getting up. We're going over there, and we got someone to steer. We're gonna push, and then we get halfway there, and they're like, "Oh, never mind. The van wouldn't even you couldn't even put it in gear."
Yeah.
So the whole project was just whatever. That was a chaotic little 10 minutes there, y'all.
Your first few minutes here today were manual labor, basically, is what you're saying.
Well, it was going to be manual labor, but then the whole thing got canceled because it wouldn't even. So it's just problem. Thought you had a solution, but then a whole nother problem. So there is no solution.
Yeah.
They're not the solution that we thought there was going to be.
Okay.
Anyway.
What's next? Just buy a new battery? Jump it off, see if the alternator will charge it? Like what? I don't know.
I don't know. Bill's out there. He's doing something with it now,
okay.
So we'll find out.
Okay, maybe we can get a report on the van before this show's up. Maybe we can do that. All right, Beaver's here, as you can tell, and that's why we're on the air, and that means we can have a normal show. And y'all can text or call on the aforementioned country pleasing text line. Say what, Beaver?
Oh, there's Uncle Bill right now. Maybe he can update you.
Update, Bill.
Let's talk about the van saga.
We need an update on the van. What's the latest?
Well, I got it moved down to the front of the building. I got it on the charger.
Okay, so when you say on the charger, is it one of those machines that you just hook it up to the battery and it charges?
Little chargers you plug in and it charges it up slowly.
Okay, do you ride around with one of those in your vehicle?
No, sir.
See,
I have jumper cables.
I do too. I'm old school. I'm analog in that way.
Well, that's how I got it jumped off to get it down to the building, because where we park them up there in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Well, so I hooked a WRKS vehicle up to it and let it sit for about 25 minutes there running and charging it. And it cranked.
Okay.
So I jumped for joy, hit my head on the ceiling, and all that stuff. But
so
anyway,
there's still a place in the market for good old-fashioned just jumper cables.
Oh, yeah. Everybody should have a pair in their car.
See, a couple of years ago, Annabeth was in the carpool line at Mary Lady's school one afternoon, waiting to pick up, and her car died, and it was a dead battery. Battery had not charged, it had run out something. And there was a guy there in line, guy we know, who had one of those contraptions you're talking about in his truck, where it's a little box, right? And he just takes the box up there and plugs in the red and, the positive, negative on the battery, cranks that little box up. Next thing you know, the car cranks. I thought, man, that's convenient. And it's like having a generator, when you really need one.
We've got a jump start, but that jump start would not even kick this thing over. It was so dead.
It was that dead.
Yeah, it's got enough to,
Well, here's the other thing,
in fact, I ran the jump start down trying to start it. So
that van was up the hill. I would think you could have just put it in neutral and coasted down the hill, couldn't you?
Well, no, because when you put the key in it, it won't unlock the steering wheel or the shift to let it go. It won't let it go without it running.
Okay, well, explain this to me then. When the tow truck comes and they encounter a situation like that,
they drag it.
They just drag it?
Yeah, they just drag it up on the back of one of those,
But I'm saying it would have to be one of the trucks where you can get all four wheels up on it with the hydraulic bed.
Yeah, it'd have to be one of those. You can't tow it.
Because you couldn't tow it.
Yeah. I've seen them do that, though, where the steering wheel was locked and they couldn't get the car open. They would just hook up to it and drag it up onto the bed of the truck. And hope the tires didn't blow when they were doing it.
Yeah. All right. Good deal, Bill. Attaboy.
Now I can go cool off. It's 69 degrees outside, but I'm sweating right now. Come on, what is going on here?
Well, that's how that works, though. It's like it hits 65. You think, oh, it's nice and cool outside, so you wear long sleeves and stuff, and you have to do anything at all, you wind up sweating your butt off this time of year.
No, Beaver's wearing shorts and a T-shirt. He never gets cold.
Well, that's year-round for him.
Yeah, I know. He never gets cold.
You give him a shirt with sleeves on it, he'll cut them off.
Oh, they're gone, baby.
No use for that.
He hadn't done it to this Alabama Crimson Tide shirt he's wearing today yet.
Oh, it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time. He'll cut those sleeves off. He's like Michael Scott on a camping trip. Those sleeves are better served, right, Beaver, as a toboggan or a tourniquet.
A tourniquet.
All right, Bill. Appreciate the update. Thank you.
Bye.
Bill with the update on the vehicle, the van update. Okay, Denzel, which one was it? I started off today saying, let's light the candle, and then I said, kick tires and light fires, and I said, I've heard that before. I stole it. And you said that saying is from Top Gun, but which one, the tires and fires or the candle? Which one? Kenny Don't Call Me Ken says, have you seen Brandon Walker's tweet on X about him restarting? Oops. Hold on. I didn't mean to hit that. I didn't mean to hit it. Look, just because we mentioned Brandon Walker, I don't automatically reach up and hit the laugh track. But it is funny. Anything about Brandon's funny. Okay. That was a mistake. You said, have you seen Brandon Walker's tweet on X about him restarting more cowbell? I have seen it. And I'm quite excited about it myself. Now, old Brandon, reckon he can, watch his language a little more on that podcast? Sorry, rascal. You so-and-so. Brandon Walker, watch your mouth. Filthy mouth, Brandon Walker. Maybe he'll watch his language a little better on that podcast, huh? What do you think? Y'all send him this clip. Or tell him. He don't care. He doesn't care what I think one bit. But I did text him about it. Now, he said that all the proceeds of his podcast are going to go straight to the Mississippi State, he said, NIL stuff to pay their players. But I texted him that he needs to quit calling it NIL because he knows it's a lie. It ain't got nothing to do with name, image, and likeness. It's height, weight, and speed. Get some players. Pay them to come. Pay them for their services. Call it what it is. But like I said, Brandon does not care one iota what I think. Or really anyone else for that matter, if we're just being honest. Now, why would he say this? Why would Blake say this about you, Beaver? He said, go ahead, Beeve, yell, Ole Miss sucks. Why would he say that? Just because you got a crimson shirt on today? Or what? I mean, Blake, why'd you say that about Beeve? Beeve hadn't said one thing about Ole Miss today. Or any time recently that I remember. Josh texted the show, Country Please and text line, said, my mom gave me one of those little boxes that you can jump a car off with for Christmas a couple of years ago, and that thing is great. You know, Josh, I bet they are great. And what a great idea. And the fact that I'm still riding around without one just makes no sense, does it? And again, kind of like, yeah, we get maybe, in North Mississippi, we get maybe one freeze a year or one bad storm a year that knocks the power out. And then every time it does it, I think to myself, why didn't I go to Harbor Freight when they were having that sale and buy that stupid generator? Why hadn't I done that? And then the ice melts or the power comes back on a day later and you think, yeah, okay, I'll just wait. It's like you don't need it until you need it. Bo texted the show and he said, Matt, since State and Ole Miss both have a bye weekend, y'all get over to Decatur and check out the JUCO State Championship at East Central Community College. Kicks off at 2 p.m. on Saturday tomorrow in Decatur. East Central versus Northwest Community College, the Rangers. And that'll be for the state title. They're both nationally ranked in the top 10. And that should be a good one. Oh, okay. Well, this makes sense. See, Blake explained it. I said, why? Because he texted earlier. He said, go ahead, Beaver, yell, Ole Miss sucks. I'm like, why would Beaver do that? Why? And Blake just said, well, it's just because I wanted to yell it myself, so I'm trying to live it through him. All right. Blake really wanted to yell, Ole Miss sucks. He just wants somebody to do it for him on the radio. That is actually really clever. Boomer Sooner says NIL no longer stands for name, image, and likeness. Instead, it stands for now it's legal. Attaboy. Attaboy. Hey, but now what is legal? Paying them for their services. Paying them to make tackles and score touchdowns. Somebody said Matt's about to get a truckload of portable jumper batteries. We don't have to do that. I mean, really. It just, I need those. I need that. It's way, that and a generator. It's time to go get one. All right. All right. Over on the live stream today, it's active. Sven is in on YouTube. He says, Hail State, everyone. Some good news for the weekend. Coach Lamonis brought in the number 2 ranked class for 2025 behind LSU. Coach Jans had the number 10 ranked class in men's hoops. And lady hoops is number 12. Well, that is awesome. That's great. Good to hear that. You know, I guess then whatever those numbers and rankings mean, Sven, you hope it means those players show up and play well and stick around. But that's great. You gotta start somewhere. You gotta start by getting them somehow. And then getting them there and then keeping them happy and and then keeping them there after a year or so. Now, that's the real tale. And maybe it's different in other sports. I doubt that it is. I know, like football, I have no use whatsoever for a football recruiting ranking anymore and haven't for the last 2 to 3 years just because, they'll tell you this class is ranked such and such. And then after the first semester, half of them are gone at just about every school. It's crazy. And why'd I spend any time on rankings when they all left? What good was that? But maybe it's different in these other sports. I'm much more interested in who's on the roster right now. There's one thing about this open transfer portal stuff does and the pay for play is it as a fan, it does teach you to have a much more right in front of your nose sort of approach. Like what's going on now? Who's on the roster now? When do we play? What time's the game? Okay. It's a very much a now approach, and there's really no point in listening to the stuff that tells you, okay, well, in 2 years, this one will be that, and if they keep recruiting this way, well, how do they know? Nobody knows. Hunter says, good afternoon, Matt. If you could only watch one game this Saturday, what would it be? If I could only watch one game this Saturday, it would be the JUCO championship game between East, Central, and Northwest. That's the one I would want to watch. I'd want to go and watch that one in person. To heck with all this other stuff on TV because State and Ole Miss aren't playing. But if again, so that one's not TV. I'd want to watch that one in person. But if I have to watch one on TV, it would be Tennessee and Georgia. Just purely from an interest standpoint. In Tennessee, maybe without their quarterback in that game. That's what they're saying. What do you think? How would you answer that one? Hunter, what's the one for you? We'll get into some of that and more. Just getting started with you here on this Friday. In the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. Stick around.
Today's game from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Time was their breakfasts were gloomy. They just didn't feel right, and they didn't know a delicious cereal could help their sad plight. So they tried this and tried that, but irregularity kept coming back all the same. For as often the case, lack of bulk in their diet was actually to blame. Once at the grocer's, the wife was so drooping and sagging that a neighbor said, "Get on Kellogg's All-Bran wagon. Why, All-Bran has a flavor that's scrumptious to eat. So rich and nut-like, makes breakfast a treat. And of course, Kellogg's All-Bran can help you each day to youthful regularity, the dietary way." "Well, it might do some good," said the wife with a sigh. "Guess I'll get some All-Bran and give it a try." Soon, breakfasts at her house were happy and bright, for delicious Kellogg's All-Bran set their day off right. Yes, All-Bran supplies all the bulk in your diet, you see, that you may need for youthful regularity. And no half-brand cereal possibly can provide this help as surely as Kellogg's All-Bran. A delicious, non-habit-forming aid to your diet. You're sure to like All-Bran. Just buy it and try it.
Get on the Kellogg's All-Bran wagon with the best bran in the land. The cereal that tastes grand, the cereal that's All-Bran, a breakfast treat that can't be beat. Be a regular guy and climb aboard the All-Bran wagon. Eat Kellogg's All-Bran.
What is the secret of this enchanted book? What wonders are hidden within its pages? What magical spell does it cast on all who read it? What is the secret of the never-ending story?
But that's impossible!
You will enter a world where a young boy's imagination becomes a vivid reality. The world of Atreyu and Artax, the Rockbiter, and a good and kind gnome. A world that is vast and eternal, treacherous and dazzling, unforgettable and free. For anyone who's ever made a wish, believed in a fantasy, or had a dream, this is the never-ending story.
It's a new thing. It's a fun thing. It's a swing wing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. It's a wing wing. A brand new classic grand fun thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing.
It's a what?
Mazda announces some great news for truck buyers. Right now, you can beat the already outstanding value of the $67.95 Mazda SE5. Introducing Mazda SE5 Plus 5. $625 worth of extra features at no extra charge from Mazda. You get a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, and AM/FM stereo. That's a $625 value at no extra charge.
9 and coming to you worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! The home team. Coming to your comments on the live stream. Some of your texts as well on the Country Please and text line. Get those coming in. Live show here today. First up on the phone line on this Friday, it's Wayne on line 1. Thanks for hanging on, Wayne. What's up?
Man, won't talk about those generators. Need to go on and spend that money.
How much do they cost?
And that color generator gonna cost you about $10,000 or $11,000.
No. Well, that ain't happening.
That generator rattle too much. Turn that money loose, man. I know you got it.
Shoot.
But it's good. Hey, I remember when that thing, Katrina hit. Man, you should. No, but that generator rattled too much.
Yeah,
it makes them their thing. I know. I guess y'all glad to have a weekend off.
Yeah, I guess so. Have a weekend off, but for me, it really ain't gonna be much of an off weekend. It's just doing some other things. But I think it's good. And then 2 weeks for everybody to kind of wrap the season up. And Ole Miss got a lot more football to play. State'll have 2 games, and that'll be it. We'll get it all. We'll get all that behind us and move on to basketball pretty quick.
Yeah, y'all were talking about what about Ole Miss? Man, I could say one. I can't do that on the G radio. On joke. But like I said, now it's gonna be a good weekend. It's about 68 degrees here in Jackson, Mississippi, where I'm at. So it's about 50 this morning when I went to therapy.
I'm telling you, it was nice and cool this morning. It was this morning on the way to school, taking my daughter to school here in North Mississippi. It was less than 50 degrees. We were like high 40s, and we were downright chilly. We were downright chilly.
Where did she go to school? You don't have to add that.
Yeah, she's in the middle. She's at the middle school here. She's in the 7th grade here in Tupelo.
Yeah, I got a great niece. I think she's about a 6th grader.
Okay.
She's over in Tennessee.
Hey, listen to this. Listen to this, Wayne. So I'm looking at, this is for where I live in North Mississippi. Sunday, up here, Sunday, it's going to jump back up. We're going to get a high temperature above 70 degrees on Sunday and Monday. So just, sun's out, just a little bit warmer. Then a front comes through on Monday night and into Tuesday. We're going to get rained on, it says, on Monday night, Tuesday morning. And by Wednesday, we are highs in the 50s and lows in the 30s a week from today. Like, it's saying that next Thursday and Friday, up here, we're going to have lows at 38, 39 degrees.
I got a friend up in the Neshoba County. He makes the cane syrup. Oh, yeah. Homemade.
Yeah.
And he ain't gonna do it until it gets cold, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If I could ever catch you down here in Jackson, I'd get you in fever, both.
Man, I would love to. I love that stuff, that cane syrup. Hey, and Wayne, I think I've had some of it. My brother-in-law, Rob Morgan, gave me some for Christmas a couple of years ago, and man, I'm pretty sure it came from what, Neshoba County at Philadelphia or wherever. That might be where you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that's where you got it.
But this man, he makes it. I told him I wanted 3 cases. But I just give, I give them to friends, you know.
Sure. That's a great idea for gifts.
Well, all
right, Wayne. Good to hear from you.
Like I said, man, y'all have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thanks for the phone call.
Yes.
Cane syrup. It's been too long. That stuff that Rob gave me, I ate it real fast. And then now I need some more. That's what I want. You know, when you, that's another thing for the young people listening. As you get older, your priorities and your desires begin to, most of the time, they begin to change and morph. You know, used to, it's like, somebody give me some money. I just want money. I'll spend it on what now, no. I want stuff to eat. Y'all can give me peanuts and peanut brittle and sorghum molasses, cane syrup, sausage, deer meat. And I'm like, man, this is great. This is just what I wanted. That's kind of how that happened. That's how it happened with me. Okay, if I'm just being honest with you. Will, happy Thursday to you. Hale State fan says Navy and Tulane is going to be the game that he would want to watch. Navy versus Tulane. Where is it? Is it in New Orleans? Hey, Rick. Rick on Facebook. Rick, I'm not procrastinating. I let it slip my mind. I got to get a hold of you. I got to pick up the phone and call you. I got to run down that thermos. Hey, and it's time, too. I broke mine even more. My good old trusty thermos I've had for 10 years, I broke it even more the other day. Now the lid doesn't really screw on very tight. It's time for me to get that one you got. Rick says the jump start boxes are not that wonderful. He says they have to be charged also. He says, when you get a chance to use it, I guarantee you it'll be dead too. Okay. But here's the thing, though. Can it be charged through the cigarette lighter in your car? Can you plug it into that and charge it that way? That's my question. I bet you can. Hale State fan says soccer team got some huge signees yesterday as well. Stark Vegas, maybe Soccer Town soon. Listen, Hale State fan, they need to let them play a game in Davis Wade Stadium. Do they have a chance to still be playing after football is over? Because how cool would it be if there's this huge game, they can really do a great marketing effort, and we all of us who don't even know anything about soccer, we're just going to support them, and all at one time, this one deal, we're going to do something cool and go watch one in Davis Wade Stadium. Think we could get some people in there for it? Maybe not. But maybe. I don't know. One can dream. One can dream. Hunter says, is Tennessee going to have their starting quarterback? So they're saying that he is, what, questionable? They're saying that 𝐌𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢 is questionable. Isn't that the word they use? Like, he may not play. I mean, that's a huge deal for Tennessee. They weren't that great on offense with him, and he's really good. I mean, and when he went out against State the other day, their offense and the way they chose to play offense, just their style, their scheme, and everything, it just totally changed. And to their credit, it was actually, I think, for their benefit against State in terms of a matchup, because they just brought the tight end in, and began running the ball, and there was nothing State could do to stop them. But it'll be a little bit different story against a team like Georgia. They're going to need to throw it. And that kid who, the backup the other night anyway against State, anytime there was even the potential of getting hit, he was not accurate with the ball. I mean, he was fairly accurate when he was not pressured, which was a few. But his best pass plays really were 2 underthrown deep balls where the receiver had to stop, try to catch it, and got interfered with both times. Other than that, there were 2 or 3 times where State would blitz him and have a free guy coming, and he just had a hard time stepping into that and being accurate with the ball. But, a week of practice, who knows? They might get better. All that, we'll see. That's another reason to pick, put it on tomorrow and watch, see what happens. A little bit ago, we were talking about NIL. Boomer Sooner nailed it. He said NIL actually stands for now it's legal. Now what is legal? Blake says regarding Alabama, he says, I've got no issues with paying players. They're making universities tons of money forever. He said, I feel like we're going to lose Ryan Williams this year because of NIL, and I hate it. Okay, but see, that's the thing. And you're not being wishy-washy. It's not an oxymoron. You can absolutely say, look, I got no issue with paying the players. And then go, well, I hate we're going to lose one of ours because somebody else is going to pay him. He's going to leave, and you got open transfer and all that kind of stuff. But here's the deal. What you're saying, Blake, that you hate about it is that there are no parameters that anybody knows to operate by is one. Like there's no structure, there's no rules. And even if there was a rule, there's nobody to really enforce it. Okay, so that's the thing. And I'm kind of like you. You want to pay them, pay them. Yeah, they do. They do make the universities a lot of money. But, there's got to be some sort of, system. There just is no system. And, therefore, I think maybe best case scenario, Blake, going forward is that state laws will allow universities themselves to just budget a certain numbers of millions of dollars every year that they're going to allot for paying their players, do it in a certain kind of way. And that way, at least the cost of your roster comes from the money you are making, as opposed to going around and everybody's a billionaire in college sports, but you're passing the hat asking fans to donate. That just never did make any sense. All right, rolling along on a Friday. We got a special birthday when we come back. Stick around.
Thursday, it's Cosby starting off a night of family fun. And leave it to Family Ties to keep the laughs coming.
Oh, no. What are we going to do? Everything's under control.
Then on Cheers, will Norm fink on a friend to get a promotion?
Yeah, yes, yes.
And the fun continues with Night Court. Thursday.
For over half a century, dairymen have tried to capture in cans the flavor of pure, fresh milk. And now Foremost has discovered the secret with an evaporated milk that's closest by far to fresh milk itself.
Kind of hard to believe, isn't it? An evaporated milk that doesn't have that old-fashioned evaporated milk taste. But it's true, and you can prove it. You know how most evaporated milks taste in coffee. The flavor goes flat. But try Foremost. You'll see it's white, the way milk ought to look, not drab tan like other brands. And when you taste it, well, if you're anything like me, you'll never even know it isn't pure, fresh cream. You try it and see. That's Foremost, the closest thing in cans to pure, fresh milk. Remember, your family gets the most from Foremost.
Coca-Cola, come on, girl. Gotta share a Coke with you. Let the feeling through. You wanna live a little bit more. That's what the taste of Coke is for. Coke is like everybody wants a little life. Coca-Cola, Coke is like everybody wants.
Come on, Harry, come on. We're getting our picture taken.
Special moments. Times of your life you'll want to remember. In pictures.
Tomorrow, Howard, Smile.
To help make those pictures look as good as they can, make sure Kodak paper is behind them. If you don't see these words, it isn't Kodak paper. Just look for this sign when you get your pictures. Kodak paper, for a good look at the times of your life.
Gee, wasn't that fun?
Come and get it! Come and get it!
Stop the confusion. Stop the confusion. Everybody wants to get into the act with Kellogg's Variety Pack. Buster wants the cornflakes, Pop wants a pep. Mama loves the raisin bran, Mama is hip. Sister loves Rice Krispies, and there's Uncle Jack. He loves Kellogg's shredded wheat. Kellogg's makes it fun to eat. Breakfast with Variety Pack. Okay, folks, there's your favorite individual box of cereal, fresh from Kellogg's Variety Pack, untouched by human hands, except your own. That don't mean you gotta eat with 'em. Each individual box comes to your FOD, fresh on delivery from Battle Creek, right to your own dish. Yeah, everybody wants to get into the act with Kellogg's Variety Pack. Yes, sir, Kellogg's Variety Pack.
Here comes the one, the delicious one. Heinz is the big rich one. There's only one ketchup with this flavor pouring on. It's so thick, so rich, so second to none.
Only one ketchup stands for this kind of thickness with this kind of taste. Heinz.
Heinz is the big rich one.
I love the rich, whole wheat goodness of Kellogg's Mini Wheats. But the delicious frosted side makes the rich kid in me open wide.
The nutritious shredded wheat helps keep me on my toes. But the little ballerina in me thinks the taste steals the show.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats, wholesome shredded wheat for the adult in you, great taste for the kid in you. So they're delicious and nutritious.
The whole grain wheat really packs a crunch, but the delicious taste gives it just the right punch.
1059.com.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go. Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Rick on Facebook said, yeah, you can charge those little jumper boxes through the cigarette lighter in your car. He says, but you have to remember to charge it up. He said, I always forget. See, that's what I would do. The right thing to do, Rick, would be to have that jumper cable box in the car and just always have it plugged up into your cigarette lighter. It ain't like you're going to light cigarettes with that thing anyway. Just keep it plugged up always. That way when the car goes dead, the thing's charged up. I would forget. Car goes dead. Box ain't charged. Out of luck. I'm with you. Coming to the phone, but first I have to recognize a special birthday. Born on this day, all the way back in 1952. Born on this day in 1952. His real name was Poffo, Randy Poffo. But you know him as Randy Macho Man Savage. Yep. Now, how come the intro, how come his walk-in, Randy Macho Man Savage's walk-in was the graduation song? Or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's what it was. Randy Savage, WWE, WWF professional wrestler. The Macho Man. Oh, yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. Boy, he could do some trash talking, I'll tell you that.
Dog, a grandstander, a showboat, and a prima donna, but you're a liar, too. I hate you. I hate your guts. I was doing real good, yeah. I was styling out there like a champion.
He passed away back in 2011, but he was born on this day in 1952. Tip of the cap. Randy Macho Man Savage. All right, over to the phone line, the Davini Equipment phone line. On line 1, Andre. Good to hear from you, Andre. Happy Friday. What's up?
Man, what's going on, man?
Not much. What do you think about everything?
Hey, we got a lot of activities going on today.
Okay.
You got high school playoff football.
We sure do.
You got your boy Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul on Netflix. Hey, we got some of everything going on tonight, so it's going to be an interesting night.
Hey, who's going to win? Tyson or Paul?
That's hard to say. But you
I tell you,
58.
That's the thing. All right, I'm going to say it. I want Mike Tyson to win. I'm pulling for Mike Tyson. I just am afraid that youth, the stamina and the strength and the flexibility and the speed and the twitch that comes from youth is going to be too much for him, and I'm going to hate to see it. Because, there was a day, as we know, in his prime, they wouldn't even let this fight happen in Tyson's prime, obviously. But
that's right. That's a hard fight to call because that just like me. I'm in my 50s now.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out there and play basketball with nobody anymore.
No.
Because in my mind, I think I can still do it. But after 10 minutes, I want to go sit down somewhere.
I'm telling you, there are times when, I'll lose my temper, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if this pops off, I'm ready. If y'all want to go, let's go. I'm thinking that in my head. And then the next morning, I'll bend down to pick something up out of the floor, and I'll think to myself, man, I'm so glad nobody challenged me because there ain't no way.
Yeah.
I can't. There's just no way. Your body won't do it. So I feel
you're right about that. All right, we finna toss the football.
Let's do it.
First thing I got to do, I got to congratulate Ole Miss. Hey, they was on the porch for a while. They never got in the door. They finally kicked in the door. So, props out to Ole Miss. Props out to the state of Mississippi because we always been taught, as long as we stay close and have a moral victory, that was good enough for the state of Mississippi. I'm glad it went wrong. I'm glad they blew out Georgia.
Hey, and are you interested in high school football tonight? Will you go to a game? And keep up
sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna go with Madison Central to win the whole thing in their division.
Okay.
Madison Central, the Jaguars.
Well, all right, and the thing about that, I had a conversation with somebody. I live in Tupelo, and Tupelo's 10-0. They it's the second time in 3 years that Tupelo's had an undefeated regular season. They got a bunch of players. They got a college, a signee quarterback, big time running back, bunch of athletes, all this, and they beat Madison Central already this year in a good ball game, and Tupelo blew everybody else out. And I was talking to somebody that goes, strange things happen in the playoffs. That Madison Central team, it's absolutely the kind of team that you'll look up and go, well, they lost to Tupelo in the regular season, but then they beat them in the playoffs, and went and won the whole thing. I think they absolutely are good enough to do it. It's just a matter of do they do it or not.
Yeah, well, hey, I grew up in Brookhaven.
Okay.
Brookhaven went 91, 10-1 this year. I got two nephews that play running back.
Wow.
What I told them yesterday, throw out all the records. I said, I was in high school. Our team went 10-1. We played Gulfport. They was 3-7. They won. They blew us out. So you got to throw the records out the window.
So, in Brookhaven tonight, it's round 1 of the Class 5A. They are 9-1, and they're hosting Van Cleve, who's 5-5. Yep.
Yeah. But like I was trying to tell them, do not look at records. Go out and play hard. If you don't, you're going to be somewhere with crying at the end of the game saying what happened.
It's true. It's so true.
That's real talk.
Yeah.
Think about this. You got Texas playing Arkansas tomorrow. They playing in Arkansas. That's a scary game for Texas.
I said the same thing, Andre. I'm glad to hear you say that. I talked to a guy who was an Arkansas fan the other night. I saw him in the Mexican restaurant in Tupelo, and he was like, we got no shot. I said, listen, I'm telling you, Arkansas at home, Texas going in there. Texas got manhandled by Georgia in their game. I know Arkansas, they don't feel good about themselves giving up 60 points to Ole Miss, but I'm just telling you, don't be surprised at all if Arkansas plays with Texas right down to the wire in that ball game.
Yes, sir. I watch a lot of football. We see it done all the time.
Yeah.
Think about this. LSU go to Florida. LSU just got embarrassed, got pushed around. Florida might not have a shot this week.
Yeah.
When you get pushed around and you're a big program, the next week, they normally blows out the team they play next. That's why I hate it for Tennessee.
Yep.
Tennessee going to Georgia, they might be in trouble.
Well, and without their starter. And did you get to see any of the State and Tennessee game? Mississippi State and Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
I don't. How'd you feel about it? I felt like their offense, which wasn't all that great to begin with, but their offense really changed when the backup quarterback had to go in there.
This is what happens, man. People, they look at the first 3 games that these teams play.
Yeah.
These quarterbacks put up enormous numbers, right?
Yeah.
Against smaller schools. So they started anointing them like they Tom Brady or somebody.
Yeah.
But in reality, they just like Baker Mayfield or somebody when they start playing somebody on their level.
It's true.
I don't believe in Tennessee. I think Georgia beat them at least 2 touchdowns going away.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Think about Georgia. They got embarrassed. They didn't just get beat by Ole Miss. They got embarrassed by Ole Miss.
Yeah, right.
Georgia is a top-notch program. No Gatorade, Oklahoma drill all week. I'm telling you.
Like a hard week of practice.
I can see a 37-14 Georgia pulling away.
You know what, Andre, you mentioned how the media starts anointing these guys. The media does some weird stuff. You know what the SEC network did on social media today? They went back and found a clip of Kirby Smart when he was playing for Georgia. He was like playing safety for Georgia. And they put out this clip and made it sound like, here is, this big deal of Kirby Smart intercepted Peyton Manning in college. And then you watch the video and it's Peyton Manning throws a pass and somebody tips it up in the air a mile high and Kirby Smart come down with it. They made it sound like Kirby Smart made some kind of great play. And I'm thinking, first of all, don't be sending out clips that make it sound like as a football player, Kirby Smart was on the same level as Peyton Manning. I know they played against each other, but this is Peyton Manning we're talking about. And it's just like, here's the network, and they're going to pucker up and kiss the rear end of one of their coaches as best they can before the weekend. I just don't understand why they do that stuff.
Well, before I let you go, the NFL draft is coming around.
Okay.
Where do you see Jackson Dart going?
Oh, I think he's going to go pretty high. Although I think the NFL is going to be a little gun-shy. A lot of these teams are going to be a little gun-shy about taking these quarterbacks, constantly taking these quarterbacks in the first round up high. But he'll be one of the early quarterbacks taken in this draft. I just don't know how early it's going to be as compared to some of the other positions. That's what I think.
Well,
what do you think real quick?
Real quick, I think if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'd take Jackson Dart.
Okay.
He used to play with great receivers. Miami got 2 great receivers.
Yeah,
that's who I would take if I'm Miami.
Good stuff. Andre, thanks for the call. Have a great weekend.
I was born and raised in Greenville. I've always called Greenville home. This is where I, was raised, went to high school, graduated high school, worked all my life here leading up to going to college. So even when I moved from Greenville, I always told people, they asked me where you're from, I always said I'm from Greenville. I have mother, father, brother, niece, aunt, all live here in Greenville. So this is home. This is where I, live, and I've just always called it home. Small town, I feel like I could walk in any place tomorrow and know 2 to 3 people in there. It's small town. Someone's on the side of the road broken down. Hey, you need a boost, flat tire, you need help changing it. That's just kind of, what I love about this area. The blues and the food and everything that comes along with the Mississippi Delta that I love. I tell people all the time, my business cards have my cell phone number on them for a reason. Insurance doesn't happen from 8 to 5. When you need me, it's going to be after 5. It hardly ever happens where you have a wreck, get pulled over, need an insurance card, wind blows, shingles off your roof. All these things happen, and it's typically after 5. And so the ability for someone to call me, get in contact with me, text me, ask me a question, and that's what it's about to me, is helping the people that we serve, is taking care of people, and them knowing that they can count on me whenever they need me. I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
Right? Get all the best gifts all at Ulta Beauty. Head in store today.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes. Plus, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text OPTION to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text OPTION to 200-300 right now. For a link to your exclusive offer, text OPTION to 200-300. That's OPTION to 200-300. OPTION to 200-300.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
We are good to go.
With more of the Matt Wyatt Show. Coming to you direct and live at the Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone1059.com.
Here we go back with you, hour number 2 of the show. Off and running. You can be a part of the show. Lots of ways for you to do that. Comment on the live stream. Shoot me a text over here on the Country Pleasing text line. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. So I'm coming to some of your texts from hour 1. Kenny, don't call me Ken. Jason, RT, Coop over in Gluckstadt. Cowboy, ready? Billy, Hunter, the rest of y'all coming to your texts. Just stay tuned. Also on the live stream, Tyler and Hale State Fan and Sven and Old Tackle and Hunter. Entertaining phone calls in hour 1, Wayne and Andre. So y'all hit us up. Let me give you those numbers too. All right, the text line number 885-3776. That's 601 number. It's also 885-ESPN. Just text that number. It'll get on in here. And if you want us to hear your voice, which I'd love to hear from you, give me a call on the Divinity phone. The number to call, 897-1059. Got it? 897-1059. Let me pour a little coffee here out of the old thermos. I got one of these little ceramic mugs from Country Meat Packers down there where Country Pleasing comes from. I love that thing. It's like just the right amount. Sip on it. I don't have too big of a cup of coffee so it doesn't get cold. A good Christmas gift. Stocking stuffers and whatnot. So get on in here. All right. Back over to the text line, the Country Pleasing text line. Kenny, don't call me Ken says, college football as we knew it is dead. What we have now is semi-pro. Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in that. The things that I don't know, Kenny, I don't know what, the uniform policy or policies are across the country at universities regarding the athletes. They are. I mean, they're hired. They're paid to come in there and play and try to help you win ball games. And I don't know what the policies are about making them go to class and graduation. And I just don't know. I mean, it could be, for all I know, it could be different at different schools. Again, I just don't know. I think what's interesting is whether anyone is talking about it or not. Kenny, I would ask you, do you agree with this? Not only is the old form of college football as you knew it dead as a doornail, you know what else is? The NCAA as a governing, ruling body. Dead as a doornail. Done. Over. Dead. Out with it's buried. Over. The end. Useless. And what I would say, Kenny, to you or anyone else who's a fan of any school that is supposedly under still the NCAA umbrella, send an email to your leaders at your school and ask them, hey, what are y'all paying anybody at the NCAA to do? Like, you got Charlie Baker. He's the quote-unquote president of the NCAA. What's he paid to do? You have... I guarantee you right now, if you were to call them in Indianapolis, there is a wing where the offices are filled with enforcement staff members who are paid. Here's my question. What are you paying them to do? What's that line? Which I've talked about this with this movie before with Beaver. Like it comes up from time to time. But that movie Office Space. Remember when the guys come in and one of Beaver's favorite actors playing one of those characters, he leans over and he goes, okay, what would you say you do here? And the guy like had a hard time answering that question. Beav, here I am. I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember his name. What's that actor's name? And from Scrubs, it was also in Office Space. I can't think of his name. You know who I'm talking about. Hold on. I shouldn't have. It's one of those that I shouldn't have to Google it. I'm Googling it. Hang on. What's the guy's name? Here we go. John C. McGinley. John C. McGinley. Look him up. You know what I'm talking about. So, incredibly sarcastic and funny guy. Hey, Beav, John C. McGinley in Office Space?
Yeah. Dr. Cox.
Yeah, Dr. Cox from Scrubs. And he leans over and he goes, what would you say you do here? And this actor, McGinley, just had a way of like, he wouldn't even have to make a lot of facial expressions. It was just something in his eyes, the way he could look at another character. He could say 1,000 words just with a look. But he did that right there when he stared across the table at, who was it, Michael Bolton? Or was it the other guy?
Oh, yeah. So there was, when he was talking to Michael Bolton, and when Michael Bolton says, because McGinley's going through, he's like, I celebrate his entire catalog, but it must be twice as hard for you having the same last name. And Michael Bolton says, you can just call me Mike. And yeah, he looks up at him with just a look of disgust in like 5 seconds of silence.
Oh, he might be one of the most underrated comedic actors in Hollywood, period.
Oh, yeah. He's so good in everything I've seen him in.
Everything.
Nothing is Dr. Cox, though, man. That was the tippy top for me.
And here's the thing for me, Beav. Like, I watched Scrubs off and on. It was something that I don't guess fit my lifestyle in terms of watching it every time, so I watched it off and on. But one day I had it on when he got right nose to nose with somebody and they were wrong about something. And rather than telling him that you're wrong, rather than just saying, no, you're wrong. You remember what he did?
Was that the wrong song?
The wrong song. He got nose to nose with this person and went, wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. And there's no way they scripted that. He had to have done that on the fly when they were recording or taping the show. Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, and in Office Space. That's what's going to happen. Look, it's what needs to happen. People from these universities need to go to Indianapolis and just talk to even the president of the NCAA and go, okay, what would you say you do here? What are you paying them for? Nothing. It's dead as a doornail. All right. Rant over. Switch flipped to the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. They are your Kubota dealer. They are the oldest Kubota dealer in the U.S., in fact. The whole country. They're the oldest one. They've been doing it better, longer than anyone else, right here at home at Davini. On line one, it's Brando. What's up, Brando? Happy Friday.
What's up, Matthew? Happy Friday, man.
Yep.
Hey, I always come out of left field, but, I think Office Space and The Office resonates with. I have been on 3 Zoom calls already today, and you would think Friday's kind of a relaxing. I mean, I know you guys don't know anything about that, but I think it resonates with so many corporate America people.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why I love The Office, and it will always be. Seinfeld was in its era, and I think of The Office as the Seinfeld of that era.
Yeah, I think you're right about
I
that.
really do.
Well, and Brando,
Hey,
Brando, before you move on from that, you know, like The Office, we talk about a sense of place. Do you agree with this? Anybody who's held a job for which they weren't passionate about it, it was just a good job, okay? But they were required to be in the office every day. That's pretty much what they did. They were in the office. They can watch The Office, and they know the feeling of just from time to time just looking for some reason to just get up and go to the break room. Just get up, just to get out of your chair and get away from your cubicle. And that's what that show constantly did. They just kind of convene in the break room or in the hallway. Anybody who ever worked in an office is the same way.
And if you're in that office setting, you become, whether you want to or not, intertwined with these people's family.
Sure.
Like, literally, y'all are a family, and you know about their kids, and you know the drama, even if you're not involved, and it's a freaking circus. I just wished I'd have had Michael Scott as a boss, like
to keep it interesting.
I mean, and you got the guy, at the office, goes sits in his car and eats a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day, and it's just like. But now, after COVID, everybody thinks they can work from home, and companies found out they can. A lot of people can, and I don't think they're doing much work.
Well, and Brando,
hey, you were talking about the media.
Hey, I got to do it. While this is the second time I've interrupted your other thought.
No, you're good, Bo.
Listen, I just learned this recently the other day, and I maybe I'd heard it and it didn't register. Do you know that there are lots and lots and lots of government employees, including a bunch of them right here in our state in Mississippi, that are technically employees of the federal government, that they were sent home during COVID in 2020, and they still to this day are working from home and hadn't come back to the office yet?
I do know that because the missus works for Shad. Not a, it's a state job.
Right, okay.
But she goes home, they work from home some. I call her just from home. She doesn't work, so I just say, you're from home today. And she says, I'm working on something. Anyway, I was calling about, you were talking about the media a while ago. We grew up in the Dan Patrick era of ESPN or whatever, but
right.
I'm not going to say hate is a strong word, not hate, but there's two guys that I loathe, and ESPN, there used to be no yelling and screaming and hollering on these shows, and that's all you get now. But who would you go with as your worst? And you may like both of these guys, out of Stephen A. and Pat McAfee.
Those two. Oh, somehow
I would love to find Pat McAfee. I'm just telling you.
You would? Yeah. Well, I'm just going to be honest with you, Brando. I'm going to shoot you 100% straight. Okay. I have seen, minutes worth of television myself with my own eyes that involves Stephen A. Smith. The only time I've ever seen any television involving McAfee for me was when I glanced at College Game Day the first week of this season. Annabeth watches Game Day. I am not a consumer anymore of sports media. And that's, I guess good and bad. So I can't even really have a strong opinion about Pat McAfee just because I don't really know. I just hadn't seen it with my own eyes. I honestly would tell you that, but you gave me those two choices, but there may be some others who I feel more strongly about that are.
We all have ours. Hey, I'll end with this. Check on B, because I don't know what's going on, but I asked him what he was doing this weekend. He said just hanging out probably in the back hammock, just watching TV, and he said, "There's room for one more." So I don't know what's going on, Matt. Y'all have a good day, buddy.
Come on, Brando. A parting shot. Okay, for the record, y'all, he made that up. He made that up about Beaver in the hammock. Brando. Yeah, I am not someone that, I don't watch Game Day. I watched it the first week of this year, and I thought, Nick Saban has saved this, but then since then I hadn't watched it. I'm just out of the habit of watching it. In the past, I've seen some Stephen A. Smith. But I just, I'm one who, I made the decision, really even now, it's getting to the point that it's years ago, that I couldn't be a consumer of all this stuff and content, as well as at the same time being a producer of all this content. Because what would happen is you consume all this and you can't help it. It affects your opinions, your thoughts, and what they're saying just comes right through and out your mouth. You sound just like them, and you think just like them, and you're interested in the same stuff they're interested in. The only way for me to avoid that is to just avoid it completely, and that's kind of what I do. All right, back over to the phone. Rebel Red and Blue on the Davini Equipment phone line. What's up? Rebel Red and Blue, you got the floor. You there? I can't hear him. Am I standing on the cord? Say, move your foot, Matt. Okay, we'll try it again. I can't hear him right now. And so I'm going to head back over to the text line. No, Jason, I don't. Jason in Flagstaff said, y'all want to trade weather for the weekend? No. What you got, Beef?
Oh, now we got Rebel Red and Blue back.
Okay.
He got disconnected.
Back. All right, got him back. Rebel Red and Blue, thanks for your patience. What's up? Hello? Lost him again. Keep trying. If at first you don't succeed, try again. I want to know what you have to say. I'm sure it's good and cold out there where you are, Jason. What's the temperature in Flagstaff, Arizona? Regarding the portable charger for your car, RT texted the show. Now, I get that, RT. Initially, when I said, well, don't you have a cigarette lighter in there you can charge it with? He said, car lighter won't work when your car's dead, Matt. Yeah, no. What I meant was, you could just always keep it plugged in so that it's always charged, because nobody's using the cigarette lighter anyway. I guess some using it for the charger for their phone, though. He said gas generators, $2,500. I guess that would be a big one. My in-laws, their house, like outside, out on one end of the house, has this in-ground built-in generator down there. And every so often, like a certain time of a certain day, every week, that thing has to it'll just automatically cut on and run for a while to keep itself going. And it's just always there and ready. And if the power goes out there, boom, that thing kicks on and they're rolling. Goals, man. Goals in life. There's one of them. RT went on to say, better make sure your portable charger is charged, because you can't charge it when your car battery's dead. Doesn't need to rely on vehicle to charge, and you'll be, he says, or else you'll be hitchhiking. Got it. Chuck in Gluckstadt says, yes, the small high-dollar box charges through a USB. Ah, okay. Now we're on to something. So it's really just a matter of, if you've got that charging box, it's just a matter of keeping it charged up. That's what the deal is. Billy texted, and he agrees that Jackson Dart to the Dolphins would be great. He said he's a Mississippi State guy, but he likes it. He must be a Dolphins fan too. But it said it sounds good. Hunter texted and said, since we talk about food on this show a lot, do you have a favorite dish or dessert that your Mrs. makes during the holidays? And then if she's in the studio, wants to know what her favorite is. Well, she's not here right now. I'd have to ask her. Holidays? She'll make cookies. What do they call them? Snickerdoodle. It's a funny name. Tastes good. Snickerdoodle cookies, those are good. makes all kinds of stuff I like. She's never made anything I don't like. And I'm not saying that she's a good or bad cook. It's not for me to say. I'm just saying I like all of it. And now I will admit I'm not all that picky. I like a lot of stuff. Food equals fuel. Buffalo Chris texted the show and he said, I'm flying out tonight for Buffalo Chiefs versus Bills on Sunday. Go Bills. I think big advantage there. Bills actually playing better, but the Chiefs have won a bunch of one-score games and are undefeated. 2 different times they've been 9-0 to start a year. Once was like way back early 2000s, and then about 10 years after that, when they had Jamal Charles and those guys, they got off to a 9-0 start. Somebody texted and said the NCAA got killed by their own incompetence, and I would agree with that. They certainly. But again, what are they? They're kind of propped up, funded, and held up all those years by the universities and the schools and the conferences as a kind of a member association. And none of them, mysteriously, none of them ever really wanted to invest in the size enforcement staff that they would have needed to actually enforce their rules evenly across the board anyway. So I would just say it all goes back to that. That's what I would say. I think it all goes back to that. Of running an organization instead of for the betterment and the long-term survival of the organization. Instead, they ran it in such a way as, how can we all get rich as fast as humanly possible? That's all we really care about. Well, okay, that'll work for a little while. But only a little while. Because eventually, there we go. So that NCAA thing, it is just dead. They need to shut down the website, fire all the people, stop sending them money. What are you paying them to do? Absolutely nothing. They are completely and utterly useless. They have no point in existing. Stick around.
A lot of people are looking for
Today's game from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Time was their breakfasts were gloomy. They just didn't feel right, and they didn't know a delicious cereal could help their sad plight. So they tried this and tried that, but irregularity kept coming back all the same. For as often the case, lack of bulk in their diet was actually to blame. Once at the grocer's, the wife was so drooping and sagging that a neighbor said, "Get on Kellogg's All-Bran wagon. Why, All-Bran has a flavor that's scrumptious to eat. So rich and nut-like, makes breakfast a treat. And of course, Kellogg's All-Bran can help you each day to youthful regularity, the dietary way." "Well, it might do some good," said the wife with a sigh. "Guess I'll get some All-Bran and give it a try." Soon, breakfasts at her house were happy and bright, for delicious Kellogg's All-Bran set their day off right. Yes, All-Bran supplies all the bulk in your diet, you see, that you may need for youthful regularity. And no half-brand cereal possibly can provide this help as surely as Kellogg's All-Bran. A delicious, non-habit-forming aid to your diet. You're sure to like All-Bran. Just buy it and try it.
Get on the Kellogg's All-Bran wagon with the best bran in the land. The cereal, the taste brand, the cereal that's All-Bran. A breakfast treat that can't be beat. Be a regular guy and climb aboard the All-Bran wagon. Eat Kellogg's All-Bran.
What
is the secret of this enchanted book? What wonders are hidden within its pages? What magical spell does it cast on all who read it? What is the secret of the never-ending story?
But that's impossible!
You will enter a world where a young boy's imagination becomes a vivid reality. The world of Atreyu and Artax, the Rockbiter, and the good and kind gnome. A world that is vast and eternal, treacherous and dazzling, unforgettable and free. Yeah! For anyone who's ever made a wish, believed in a fantasy, or had a dream, this is the never-ending story.
It's a new thing. It's a fun thing. It's a swing wing. It's a what? It's a swing wing. It's a wing wing. A brand new grand fun thing. It's a what? It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing. It's a what?
Mazda announces some great news for truck buyers. Right now, you can beat the already
1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Okay, I just saw this. Yeah, previous segment I wrapped it up by saying, that the NCAA is just completely and utterly useless. I mean, what are you paying any of those folks to do? I'm not saying they're bad people, but what's their job? What is the purpose of any of those jobs? Why on earth would anybody at any university in America in any way allow this ghost of an organization to use their association with the colleges as a way to pay themselves? Okay, so NCAA President Charlie Baker. Why? What's he doing? What is he doing right now? Or any of them for that matter? Shut it down. Kill the website. Okay, or just make it archival so that records and things, and maybe keep it up for stats purposes, but kill the rest of it. Shut the building down. Stop paying rent on that thing. The money can go somewhere else. Give them their severance and be done with it. It's a charade. What are you paying them to do? Really? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's not one. But if you could pick up the phone right now, call Indianapolis, and get a hold of any employee in the quote-unquote enforcement arm of the NCAA, your first question is, hey, what do you actually do? Okay, and then if they have an answer, say, well, why? Why shut that down? Why on earth are any of them getting a paycheck to do anything? I'm sorry. Not for people losing jobs. I'm just saying, every job's got to have some kind of purpose, right? I don't get it. But Hunter said, quote of the week, the Syracuse coach said it after the loss, not worthy of the soap. You don't even want the soap. He said he would brush his teeth, but he wouldn't bathe because he wasn't worthy of the soap. Chance commented on Facebook, and he said, do we give Hutzler another year? Well, I mean, I don't know. I would think, I don't think you've had enough of a shot from a personnel standpoint to really even be able to evaluate whether or not he's a good coach. Now, I'm sure there's some shortcomings, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Maybe at some point at least have a competitive roster in your defensive front and then see how he does, But I also understand there's an element of confidence and momentum. And if you, as a head coach, you do have to evaluate that. Even if it's a one-year guy, you always have to evaluate, okay, do I have a position room or a offensive, defensive room where players just have completely given up on, their coach? Because if that were to happen, you got to make a change. But I don't know that that's happened at all. I mean, because the kids playing their tail off as far as effort and giving all they can give. It's just they don't have the horses. So I'll be honest with you, Chance. I am one who, from the word go this year, this swell of Hutzler this and Hutzler that, and fire him this and fire him that, and I've looked at that from the word go, going, how are you gonna really? Like, you watch the games and that's what it's strictly a coaching thing? Who did that? Who did? Really? And if it's media people, okay, let me ask you this. If it's media people who've been in on that, are they supposed to know what they're watching? Because really, of the things that are on your list of problems to fix right away, that's what you came away with? Was like a coaching deal? No, man. Now, you may have, again, if players walk out on you or something like that. I'm not saying that's even the case. I'm saying if a coach has that, it doesn't matter where it is, they have to address it. But short of that, never doesn't make what you call. I mean, you have a bunch of snaps where your front gets picked up and walked down the field 4 or 5 yards. I go, what difference does it make what you call? Let me read a bunch of texts here. I'm going to go quick. Patches says academics with paid athletes is non-existent. Does anyone really believe if a player is getting a multi-million-dollar NIL, quote-unquote, deal that there is any chance of adverse academic penalties being enforced? Come on, man. Yeah, I'm with you, Patches. That's kind of how I feel about it. So that's the thing. I mean, it's full-on. It's a full-on minor league thing. And again, I'm sorry, but people who still even use the term NIL, what are they doing? They're just not thinking. They just don't. They want to say letters instead of numbers. I mean, said it before. It's either, there's only two possibilities. If you have any platform at all, and that could be media, it could be a coach, it could be an AD, it could be, like you say, an anchor, TV, whatever. And on your platform, you stand up there and you're still going NIL, 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 NIL opportunities for our student athletes, NIL opportunities for our student athletes. Then it's only one of two possibilities. Either you're an idiot or you are lying. And you know it, and they know it, everybody knows it. It's only one of two possibilities. Junior 49 texts and says, Matt, what? He says, we pay for scholarships and then we pay the players. Yeah. Again, that's not necessarily a great business model. Delta Tide fan texts the show. He says, well, I believe that NIL has ruined college football. It can be a godsend to other sports in college that don't get nearly the funding the football gets. I'm speaking, of course, of, he says, archery teams, shooting sports teams, bass fishing teams. None of those sports get anywhere near the amount of funding that football and baseball and basketball do. He says, I think NIL could be a good thing for those sports and helping those athletes get better. Anyone who thinks it's bass fishing or shooting sports is not a sport needs to hang with me for a day or two when I go fishing. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Non-revenue things where if you got an athlete who's a big-time star, he may actually get endorsement deals. But, I mean, again, it's still few and far between. When the real, sure enough, endorsement deals are few and far between in a sport like football, then goodness knows they're few and far between in other sports. Kenny Don't Call Me Ken says, I've never watched a single episode of The Office. And he says, what are some classic TV shows or movies that you and Beaver have never watched? We talked about that recently. There was one, I can't remember what it was, some movie I've never seen. I can't think of it anymore. RT says, yeah, girls love that when you pick them up in the car and you tell them, hey, sit in the back, I'm charging my charger right here. Yeah, they love that, don't they, RT? Real C says the crappie aren't safe this Saturday. Let me look at this. What do we got here? Oh. He's looking at the pressure. It's easing up. Very light wind. He's going to be sneaking around watching it. Hey, Real C, I'm old enough, I started to say depth finder. When's the last time we called it that? Live view is what he's going to be watching. Grumpy texts the show. He says, Matt, if you're smart, you better say HQ is a good cook. She knows she is. I don't know that she's ever made anything I didn't like. She knows it. I'm just telling you like it is. All right, Rebel Flyer is a fan of Office Space, I can tell, because he just texted me that he is a master of TPS reports. Okay, Rebel Red and Blue said earlier that he was on hold. He could hear fine, but when he'd switch, it would go away. So Rebel Red and Blue, maybe it was an issue on my end and not yours. Billy says, no, I'm not really a Dolphins fan. He says, but I think between Lane Kiffin and Dolphins coach, that would be a really good fit for Jackson Dart. Yeah, tough kid. I think he can. I mean, the ability's there. You lead all of college football in passing. The ability's there. And competitor, tough guy, physical guy, can play through pain, stand in there, take contact, still be accurate. I mean, it's just all there. And it was. Y'all have listened to this show. I've had the same message about him since I saw him in person in that Egg Bowl that they lost in Oxford to Mike Leach and Will Rogers and them in that close game. And that was the year that all these Ole Miss people were on his case. Jackson Dart. Again, it's kind of like people watching State thinking the problem is the defensive play calling or something. Back then they're all watching Ole Miss, watching their issue, and some of their fans going, Jackson Dart, he's the problem. Well, what about now? Is he the problem? You could watch him play then and tell, no, he's not the problem. That kid's good. Tough. That fourth down conversion on that final drive against State in that Egg Bowl, they didn't go score or get it done, but that fourth down conversion out there at midfield, go back and watch that play. Just one play. You're going to think, Matt, why would you bring that up? Just watch it. You'll see what I mean. Free blitz, off the edge. It's fourth down. Bearing down on him. He's going to get tattooed. He knows it. I know it. We all know it. And, man, footwork doesn't break down. Deliver a strike on a play you must have. He gets buried, hops up, first down. Those kind of plays say a lot to the ones of us who's ever tried to do it and couldn't. All right. We are going to wrap the week up and the show up the right way next. Bible questions with Terry. Stick around.
Thursday, it's Cosby starting off a night of family fun. And leave it to Family Ties to keep the laughs coming.
Oh, no. What are we going to do? Everything's under control.
Then on Cheers, will Norm fink on a friend to get a promotion?
Yeah, yes, yes.
And the fun continues with Night Court. Thursday.
For over half a century, dairymen have tried to capture in cans the flavor of pure, fresh milk. And now Foremost has discovered the secret with an evaporated milk that's closest by far to fresh milk itself.
Kind of hard to believe, isn't it? An evaporated milk that doesn't have that old-fashioned evaporated milk taste. But it's true, and you can prove it. You know how most evaporated milks taste in coffee. The flavor goes flat. But try Foremost. You'll see it's white, the way milk ought to look, not drab tan like other brands. And when you taste it, well, if you're anything like me, you'll never even know it isn't pure, fresh cream. You try it and see. That's Foremost, the closest thing in cans to pure, fresh milk. Remember, Your family gets the most from Foremost.
Coca-Cola, come on, girl. Gotta share a Coke with you. Let the feeling through. You wanna live a little bit more. That's what the taste of Coke is for. Coke is life. Everybody wants a little life. Coca-Cola, Coke is life. Everybody wants.
Come on, Harry, come on. We're getting our picture taken.
Special moments. Times of your life you'll want to remember. In pictures.
Smile, Howard. Smile.
To help make those pictures look as good as they can, make sure Kodak paper is behind them. If you don't see these words, it isn't Kodak paper. Just look for this sign when you get your pictures. Kodak paper, for a good look at the times of your life.
See, wasn't that fun?
Come and get it. Come and get it.
Stop the confusion. Stop the confusion. Everybody wants to get into the act with Kellogg's Variety Pack. Buster wants the cornflakes. Pop wants a pep. Mama loves the Raisin Bran. Mama is hip. Sister loves Rice Krispies. And there's Uncle Jack. He loves Kellogg's shredded wheat. Kellogg's makes it fun to eat. Breakfast with Variety Pack. Okay, folks, there's your favorite individual box of cereal. Fresh from Kellogg's Variety Pack. Untouched by human hands, except your own. That don't mean you gotta eat with 'em. Each individual box comes to your FOD, fresh on delivery from Battle Creek, right to your own dish. Yeah, everybody wants to get into the act with Kellogg's Variety Pack. Yes, sir, Kellogg's Variety Pack.
Here comes the one, the delicious one. Heinz is the big rich one. There's only one ketchup with this flavor pouring on. So thick, so rich, so second to none.
Only one ketchup stands for this kind of thickness with this kind of taste. Heinz.
Heinz is the big rich one.
I love the rich, whole wheat goodness of Kellogg's Mini Wheats. But the delicious frosted side makes the rich kid in me open wide.
The nutritious shredded wheat helps keep me on my toes. But the little ballerina in me thinks the taste steals the show.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats. Wholesome shredded wheat for the adult in you. Great taste for the kid in you. So they're delicious and nutritious.
The whole
Right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you on a Friday. I hope you have a chance today or this weekend to get out and enjoy the cooler weather. Enjoy creation, get outside, stomp around, maybe catch a fish. If you're real sea, my man, it ain't a matter of if you're going to catch them. It's just how many and on what. And so I hope you enjoy it. And we have a little bit of time left to enjoy here together on the radio here on this Friday in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, with some Bible questions with my friend Terry Fant, pastor at Hickory Ridge Baptist Church in Florence, Mississippi. And he's on your radio as we speak. Terry, happy Friday to you, sir. How you doing?
Happy Friday, Matt. I am enjoying this wonderful weather.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, that weather sometimes affects this voice a little bit as well.
Well, but also revival for the last week, too. I mean, you've been busy, right?
Yes, it has been a great week.
So
someone said to me, man, I'm glad you had the week off. You know, you weren't preaching this week. I said, my goodness.
You know, and isn't that true, Terry? I mean, really and truthfully, like for a pastor of a church who's approaching it the way that he's, you know, commanded to, the preaching at the podium is really only part of the deal, only a small part of the deal.
That's exactly right.
Mm.
Yep.
Okay, so good week. All right, so let me ask you a question. It's not a trick question. How would you define humble or humility? How would you define it?
I would define humility, acknowledging that I am not the supreme in the situation.
Okay.
I'm not the greater in the situation. And that can be with people or with God, right?
Right. Okay.
Sometimes we get it confused as low self-esteem. You know?
Yes.
I'm worse. I'm the less. I'm terrible. You know, I'm the worst that ever happened. And that's condemnation from the enemy, not conviction from the Spirit of God.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Not the supreme in the situation. My dad has, I don't know if he picked it up or what over the years, but he would say being humble is knowing who you are, knowing who God is, and knowing the difference. Which is which is kind of another way to say the same thing you said, right? Knowing who you are, knowing who God is, knowing the difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, so one of my favorite passages of Scripture, if you just take one verse, and sometimes a one verse can be taken out of context, but is and has been since I was a college kid, is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. It said, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Because, you know, when you're a young person, you're always, you know, you got your life in front of you. You're always thinking about when's due time. You know, when am I going to get mine? You know, so to speak. When are things going to happen for me? And so you think, okay, humble yourself. And in context, you read around that. So I just thought I would ask you about a couple things that are in those verses about humility, and then let's see where it takes us. So this is 1 Peter chapter 5. In verse 5, it says there, Peter wrote, okay, be clothed with humility. That's in verse 5. Be clothed with humility. And it said, for God resisteth the proud and gives grace to the humble. So humble and humility is a big thing. That's verse 5. Then in verse 6, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. And then verse 7, right after that, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. So in understanding what's being written right there about a lot about humility, about the importance of humility, help me start to break it down, Terry. Where do we start?
Okay, so in the beginning there, Matt, where it says be clothed with humility, he's speaking there because it's coming from the context of first part of chapter 5, dealing with shepherds, elder, pastor, same word, and how they're supposed to operate as humble among the flock. And then he comes down, he's still dealing with humility in relationship to other relationships, younger people, being submissive and humble toward their elders. But then he says, hey, really, all of you should be submissive to each other. The only way that we can be that, considering each other, is to be clothed with humility. It means that if I'm having conversations with other brothers and sisters, I don't need to consider myself the supreme in every conversation and in the situation, but to give them a place in my heart and mind elevates them, okay? Then he says, here's why, because God resists the proud. So if I'm in dealing with you as my brother, and I'm always prideful, I'm always right, I'm always the one talking, I'm never considering Matt's well-being and spiritual growth and how I can contribute to that, it says God resists the proud. I'm operating in pride. And watch this, that word resists doesn't mean like turns you away. It means actively warring against.
Wow. So it's
now, that's pretty intense.
So it's not ignoring, it is like battling.
Yes. And then the second part of the course is, but he gives grace to the humble. So we have to ask ourselves, which one of those do we want to be? The one who's being actively resisted or opposed or fought against by God, or the one who's the recipient of his grace?
So it's in one way it's New Testament scripture that is directly opposing pride and humility, and directly opposing God and pride, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
then he moves into verse 6.
Yeah.
Verse 6, therefore, because of that, he says, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God. And think about what is how do I humble myself in my relationship with the Lord? It's the attitude of prayer. It's the attitude of seeking. It's the attitude it goes in the aspect of, first of all, the character of God. So I should be constantly seeking to know God more. But if I ever get to the place where I feel like I haven't figured out, then it's pride, and I quit seeking. You see, so humility should tell me I don't know him yet. As much as I know of him, I don't know him yet, and I need to get to know him better. Okay, humility in my problems or difficulties looks like I don't just try to figure it out or man up or try harder, but I humble myself, bow before the Lord, and as much as I want to try to do it with my hands, I humble my attitude of pride that says I got to fix this or try harder, and I bow myself before the Lord and pray for his help and believe he's the only help I really have.
And so essentially genuinely submitting to his will. You know, you said something in one of the scriptures we were studying a while back, and it was in regards to Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego in the book of Daniel, but said they were, and here was what you said, trusting God with the outcome regardless of the outcome. And that really...
Yeah, they said our God's able to get us out of this pride, deliver us out, but even if he doesn't,
yeah,
we ain't bowing down to anybody else.
Yeah, and I'm not worshiping that. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so, and that's 6. Humble, he may exalt you in due time. And then it said...
So think about the contrast real quick there.
Okay.
So the trouble is we try to exalt ourselves.
Right.
Meaning we try to elevate ourselves. You know, again, that goes back to pride. And when we are, God's resisting us. Business, relationships, whatever. But we're humbling ourselves, letting God exalt us. But he says in due time, which means his timing, which is for us, for the microwave generation. We really want it yesterday.
Yeah. Right.
But he will exalt. If we'll humble ourselves and follow him, he'll exalt us at just the right time. And then when you're going in verse 7, he says, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. Interesting that Peter would connect these cares of the things like anxieties, the things that we're concerned with, the things that weigh us down, the things that cause us to be fearful and worry.
Yeah.
He says to cast those like a weight onto him. Our shoulders, our frames were not built to carry that kind of weight.
Yeah.
And he says, so cast them on him. Now, what produces that is when I'm not humbling myself and turning them over to him and trusting him for the outcome. It's when I'm trying to make a way myself.
Right.
Trying harder, doing better, you know, those types of things.
Sure. And the word all, you know, I think about Ray Comfort.
Man.
Ray Comfort, sometimes when he talks or preaches, he'll say, you know, the word all in the Hebrew is translated as all. Meaning casting all your care upon. Why? Final question before the music starts, Terry. Why is it so hard for me to cast all my cares upon him?
I believe that's because of our human nature that says I, me, my. Yeah. And I think this system we're born into down here on earth says if you try harder and do better, you get rewarded. And so it ends up being us just trying to do it ourselves. And so there's that. Then I think there's a portion of it that says, well, I haven't performed great for God. I haven't been the best Christian. And so we just somehow, the enemy lies to us and we think he doesn't care for us the way that he really does.
It is so true. Which that outlook is connected to pride in and of itself, isn't it? I haven't done enough.
Yes. Yes, I didn't earn it in the first place. It was by his grace and his shed blood. Absolutely.
Right. Didn't earn it in the first place. It is the gift of God, that salvation, the gift of God unto salvation. Well, and if you could earn it, it ain't a gift. Therefore, you cannot earn it. It is only by the blood of Jesus. Period. End of story. All right. Are we still having revival? It sounded like we had a little more.
I'm feeling a little stirring in my heart now, right now.
Right now, me too. Hey, good to talk to you. Have a great weekend. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
Always a pleasure, Matt. Keep going.
Yeah, same here. All right, for Beaver, I'm Matt. See y'all Monday. See you.
A lot of people are looking forward to seeing you this Christmas.